Yeah, hello, my people. How you doing? My name is Chinedu Anichi, your one and only celebrity CSO, and this is Chinedu Anichi TV streaming live from St. Louis, Missouri, United States of America, the African voice in diaspora. Today is Saturday, and one of our talk shows, we have always looked at people granting a voice that represents the originality of Africa. And today, we have a personality who knows what it is to grow in Africa, who has experienced international debates and aura, and has remained very undoubted African. And today, we have somebody, I don't want to shout. Some of you have seen in the advert, but the person I am presenting to you today is subscribing to what our great novelist, Chinua Achebe, said. He said the Europeans have done movies about Africa. The Europeans have written about Africans. They have spoken about Africans. But when an outsider talks your story, it will never end without prejudice. So today we want Africans to talk their talk. We want Africans to say the way they feel and who really is an African man. And today we have a mouthpiece, somebody who will showcase that outstanding tendency and virtue. So today, I am honored and privileged to present to you a wonderful TV show presenter of international repute. I want to present to you again today, wonderfully, a content creator, not just a content creator, but a gospel preacher that his gospel is encapsulated in the kind of contents he puts across worldwide, especially when it has to do with girl child, maturity, relationship. Come on, we are going to see a compendium of many ideologies today, a channel of grace and ATM of favor when it has to do with social life. And today we have Hero Daniels. And let me have the privilege to welcome Hero Daniels in our talk show with Chinedu Anichi TV. And here's Hero Daniels. Hero, you're welcome. Wow.
I had to go through your content and you're doing such a wonderful job. It is an honor for me to be here and I'm very delighted to, share myself with your audience. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Hero Daniels. Officially, for protocol's sake, please can you introduce yourself to our audience?
All right. My name is Hero Daniels. I am a television host. I currently have about 4 shows running on traditional television. I also create content. So I've had about 16 years in broadcasting, started as far back as when I was 14 in Anambra Broadcasting Service, which is my hometown. I'm from Anambra State, by the way. And ever since then, I've worked with almost all the reputable television brands, local and international. In fact, as we speak, one of my TV shows called Dance Niger Dance is currently airing on Z World. Z World is an Indian channel that is also in Africa. And as of last year, I traveled to India to host one of their big award shows. It's called Z Senior Awards, and it was such a spectacle because I was literally the only black man amongst the entire Indians and everything. So I also have a couple of originals on Africa Magic. I have about 2 game shows on Africa Magic, and I have 1 show with InterSwitch, which is syndicated across every platform. But that's a lot of story. Bottom line is I'm a television host and I'm a content creator on social media.
Wow, that's great. Our people on Instagram, okay, yeah, Instagram is connected already. So my people, you have seen we have Hero Daniels today, and Hero Daniels is somebody 16 years experience in broadcasting. Some of us are just learning, you can see. So as far as this business is concerned, we can refer to you as a veteran because I know somebody who was born 60 years ago, I don't know if he or she commits an offense today, he can be tried for for independence. He has grown up, so I think you have grown when it comes to this job. Thank you
Thank
for what
you.
you have been putting out. Today,
Thank you.
when people were privileged, if you see our topic today is the making of hero Daniels. The making of hero Daniels. A lot of people they hear hero Daniels, they hear hero Daniels, they only see your glory, they only see your Versace, they only see your Mercy steps that you are known for. They only see the kind of elegance you wear, the kind of physique you are gifted that transports attire heavenwards. But they don't know the story behind this glory. If you touch Osime will tell you, I hawked pure water. If you touch the Maya, you tell you I sold my Maya. If you touch, do you have any story like that, that made your glory today?
So I think for everybody that is a typical Nigerian and typical Africa, for 90% of us, we've always had the grass to grace story. But looking in hindsight, I always tell my friends that I was born in a very poor neighborhood, but I never considered myself poor. So I grew up in the local streets of Onitsha. Back in the day, in fact,
Hey, so
Onwediwe was
Ibu
cited.
Nwotu, Ibu Godu Nwotu.
So so my father, my grandfather was very rich. The wealth also somehow translated and transferred to my father, even though that he built his own wealth from the scratch, not necessarily depending on his own father's wealth. My father would say that, after studying at the university and then he came back, his salary was 100 naira and he was doing well for himself. But just like the typical Nollywood story, the village people struck and he lost all his wealth. And we typically went from a very rich family to a very poor family. So my father had to, go back to the slums and start life afresh. And it was in that situation that I was born. I used to say that I think one of the greatest gifts that my father that my life has given to me is the gift of my parents, in the sense that even though we were at the slums, I think he made sure that he tried everything in his possible best to give us the best education. And yeah, to be honest, I didn't sell any pure water. My parents really, really, really took care of me, if I'm to be honest. However, I could understand the struggles of not eating 3 square meals a day. I could understand the struggle of, okay, being born in a family of civil servants. So even when the government owes them for months, it means that we'll have to go hungry for months. I can understand budgeting. That's okay. At the beginning of the month, you might eat good. In the middle of the month, you start eating without meat. By the end of the month, before they pay the salary, that's it, they pay at all. You don't have any food at all. Um, but yeah, just start. I wouldn't say I have any particular deep deep struggle, and I'm just grateful that at every point in my life I had always seen every challenge that comes as just a challenge that needs to be overcome, as opposed to something that should bring me down. So yeah, that's it. I used to tell people that yes, I grew up in the slums, but I never really, really, really hustled or sold pure water or did all of those things. And I think I'm incredibly grateful to my parents that they were able to at least give us a great education, to the best of their ability.
Wow, that's great. Can you
Yeah.
give a shout out to your parents now?
Oh yes, so I'm giving a shout out to them. They did well. They sold everything. They legit just gave up their dreams and did everything possible to make sure the school fees were paid. Did they owe school fees? Yes. Was I sent out of school a couple of times? Yes. But did I eventually graduate? Of course, I did graduate.
Well, that's why I said I want a very big shout out to your parents in
Yes, so
particular.
yes, so it's not
Because
easy. It's not easy
it's
at
not
all.
easy. It's not
I
easy.
know.
Those times,
I
some
know.
a lot of people didn't have that privilege.
I know. I know. But in terms of my career path, I've never had anything handed down to me. I studied microbiology at the University of Benin, and the plan was my father really wanted me to study medicine. He tried everything that he could. But after graduating with microbiology, I took the micro and I abandoned the biology. So that's why I'm using the microphone. I just remembered.
Please hold on here. I want you to emphasize this point. It sounds funny, but it's sending a message to Nigerians, to Africa, and to all our audience. You know,
Yes.
you got microbiology, but
Yeah, I
on your
studied
own
microbiology
independently, you dropped the biology and you
and I
work
took
on
the
the micro.
micro and I turned it to a microphone.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. So I remember vividly after graduating, I took the statement of results to my father and I said, I have done my part that you want. You want me to get a university degree. I have done that. And I just told him I'm going to pursue my path henceforth. And I remember I was posted to Calabar, and while I was in Calabar, serving in Calabar, I was serving in a hospital, and I was just on the streets, and I think everybody in Live TV were doing a vox pop. They were doing a vox pop, speaking to people on the streets. They didn't even pick me to speak to. I had to tell the videographer, his name, I remember, Boyega. I called his attention. I'm like, when I'm not going to interview me, that I can really do this work, that you guys should give me a try. And they interviewed me just, it was a vox pop. And I told him that I would really love to like work with Ebony Live TV, that I would like to like host their red carpet events. And then he introduced me to his producer, and the producer gave me a screen test, and I got the job. And that's how I started working with Ebony Live TV in Calabar, hosting most of their events. I remember Carnival Calabar also was very, very big back in the day. And I got a very good push with interviewing, different celebrities from all over around the world, interviewing the governor. I think that was the major break I had in terms of TV hosting. After about a year, I obviously my contract was finished. I tried to renew it. I came all the way to Lagos because Ebony Life at that time had moved from Calabar to Lagos. And I came to Lagos hoping that I'll continue from where I stopped. I remember I had to email Moabudu. Moabudu is the CEO of Ebony Live TV. And she said, okay, she was going to give me a screen test. I should meet so producer. I went to meet the producer, and the producer told me vividly to my face, you think because you know Mo, you can just go straight to Mo and Mo will give you a job. I'll be here and see whether you get a screen test or not. Cut long story short, she never gave me a screen test, and I never sent a follow-up email to report her to her boss. I just let it slide. I remember one of those days I had to go back to Ebony Live TV to see the same producer, and she told me that she was not going to give me a screen test. I was devastated, and I decided, okay, you know what? Let me just go and greet some of the people I used to work with at the editing suites. I went to the editing suites, and I stumbled upon a call for entry by an international brand called TLC Africa. They were calling for presenters all over Africa for a presenter search. I auditioned for that presenter search. I made a video right there in the editing suite of Ebony Live TV. Cut long story short, I think within 3 weeks of making that video, I was selected from Nigeria, flown to South Africa to represent Nigeria in the competition. I think I came fourth. I didn't get the job as like the new presenter for TLC Africa. I think I was third or fourth. I can't remember. But immediately I came back to Nigeria, I auditioned again for a position at Linda Ikeji TV. Linda Ikeji is the online blogger. And I think after the auditions, I got the job, and it has just really been a great trajectory from there.
Wow. So that's great. So you work with Linda Ikeji.
Yes, for
I think
about
she's
two to 3
also
years.
she had a lot to do with my life too, because it's a movie that projected me. I used to do other movies, but it was her movie, The Dark
Yeah, I'm
October,
aware.
that brought me to limelight somehow. So I was a celebrity in the other part of business, like in security. I was a consultant, in politics. But when it comes to entertainment industry, I was not known. But it was that particular movie I did from that was produced by Linda Ikech that projected me to where I am today.
Amazing. Amazing.
Mm, yeah. So that's great. We have why we ask people of this experience is that people will literally think that Hero Daniels just came from somewhere and and came up and started saying a lot of speaking English and broadcasting. No, you see the little experience you shared now. I want to tell you there's somebody out there watching that will be inspired, that will be invigorated, and that is the essence of this show. So that's great. Okay, now you are one of the top. Let me tell you, I own my opinion and I defend it. So, and at my age and exposure, I have right to make conclusions about personalities that I have analyzed whatever they are putting out there. You're one of the most impressive person I've seen around when it comes to
Thank you.
positive content creating, positive ones. So why
Thank
did
you.
you choose that niche when you know that followership is more with those that reveals indecency and some negative attributes? Why did you choose a very sound, educative, and moral conscious niche?
Thank you. I'm glad that you think that. I don't think it was a deliberate act. You know, you can't give what you don't have. So honestly, I do not have a lot of negativity in me. And the reason why I say a lot of negativity is because I'm trying to be modest. I am very, very sensitive to negativity in the sense that my friends would even tell you that Hero is somebody that you would tell that you want to jump the mountain. And as opposed to telling you why you cannot jump that mountain and how you will break your leg when you jump the mountain, he's thinking, how best can you actually really jump the mountain without getting hurt? You know, I always try to look at the positive things of life because I believe that the beauty of life does not really depend on how happy you are, but how happy others are because of you. And if we can all contribute our little quota in making the world a better place in terms of being positive, you know, most of our problems will be solved. So it wasn't necessarily something that was deliberate that I wanted to choose a positive niche. I wasn't really deliberate about it. It was a matter of what does my conscience agree with? You know, if I'm putting out a piece of content, does it reflect a part of me? If I'm putting out a piece of content, does it make the other person feel better? If I'm putting out a piece of content, does it help people mentally? Does it help them through the stress? Nigeria as a country is one that's, whether you like it or not, we all have a level of mental stress. If it's not from queuing up for fill, it is from not having money, it is from the bad economy. There's always something that will make you discouraged in Nigeria. There's always something that will put you down. And then we live in a world where toxicity sells, you know, negativity sells. If somebody does something positive, it hardly goes viral. But if somebody's sex tape leaks, that moment, in a matter of 3 minutes, the person becomes the most popular person in that region automatically. So it wasn't something deliberate. It was just a matter of it's. I'd like to think that that's who I am, and I like to think that you know, I just try as much as possible to just, you know, contribute positively. And when I genuinely realize that the content that I put out there impacts life is when I get feedback from the audience and I see people telling me, I think I actually remember the first positive feedback I got from my audience. This was a young lady, a single mother that lived in New York. She's a Nigerian also. And she said that she was about to jump off, whether it's an 8-story build. I can't remember how far, but she wanted to jump off her window and she wanted to commit suicide. And she just said, let her enjoy the last bits of whatever she can enjoy on earth before she commits suicide. And she stumbled upon my video and she said that she watched the video. She felt so good about herself. She laughed and then she swiped and she kept watching and kept watching and kept watching and kept watching until after watching, she just sort of went back to sleep. She totally forgot that she was supposed to jump off the building. And then she reached out to me via DM. I think it was at that moment that it struck me that what we're doing is not just cruise, it's not just play, it's not just I want to have fun, it's not just passion. I think it's ministry. You know, people have different ways that God calls them. Some are called to the office of a pastor, a prophet. You know, others are just necessarily called into maybe philanthropy. Others are called into the business world to be the light, you know. So we all have a level of ministry. And I think as entertainers, as creators, when we realize the power that we have, it just taking the cue from the Bible, God has the power of creation. He created us. So automatically, because we are like him, we have the power of creation. We can create, we can influence. Now, if we realize the power that we possess as human beings and how the things we do can make or mar someone around us, then we realize that with such a huge power that we possess and we wield, there's a huge responsibility that should come with it, you know. And whatever we're doing, yes, we want to make profits. Yes, we want to buy the cars. Yes, we want to buy the houses. But at the very core being, the only thing you can really leave this world with is legacy, is impact. I mean, Fela is being talked about. Maybe as an individual personally, he might not have lived the most exemplary life in terms of his personal comportment, in terms of how many wives he had, in terms of, you know, certain promiscuity or certain things that people that know him personally will know. However, when you think of Fela, you don't think of those things. You think of his impact, you think of his music, you think of his activism, you think of all of those amazing things and how he has impacted an entire generation. And his children and his grandchildren and his great grandchildren are reaping off the labors of his positive impact in the society. So that's why every single thing I do as an individual, as a brand, I ask myself, yes, Daniel as an individual might not want to do this, but what would Hero Daniels do? What should Hero Daniels do? From a brand perspective, from an office perspective, from a ministry perspective, I just see myself doing the right thing. Because at the end of the day, yes, long term, how people would not remember all of your, what's it called? People will only remember the impact you had on them. It's about the audience. It's really about the people. It's not really about you. So I've just learned to separate myself, and I've learned to think from an audience perspective. How best can I better the audience? How best can I make them feel better than they were before they watched my videos?
Wow, you know, some of your shows, like this, there's an advert about dance. Is that Dance Niger Dance?
Yes, in fact, it's currently
Dance
airing right
Niger
now as we
Dance. Yeah.
speak. Yeah,
So,
Dance
what is
Niger
it all
Dance.
about, and how is it
So
linked
that
up with what do you call it,
Z World.
Z World?
So Dance Niger Dance is a fusion of Indian and Nigerian dance. So we have a lot. Z World is the number one watch channel in the entire country. If you, in fact, people make jokes that every family you go to, you see that the wife is watching Z World while the husband wants to watch football, and they sort of fight over it. So, because of how popular Z World is in Nigeria, the Indians decided to come and start creating local content. And they also wanted to make sure that it is very true and original to their channel, which is an Indian channel. Dance Niger Dance is currently airing to over 91 countries in the world as we speak. That's a massive reach. So it's a fusion of the Indian and the Nigerian dance. And I'm very, very privileged to be the host of Dance Niger Dance. So it's just a dance show where dancers from all over the country, from different states in Nigeria, come together week in, week out for about 10 weeks. They will be competing, and different teams are given to them every week. And at the end of the season, a group will be crowned the winner, and they'll be winning a fantastic cash prize. So that's what the show really is about.
Okay. Oh, that's great. So, Hiro, I would like to ask you something very important to me,
Yes.
and we can put it out to our audience.
Yes, please.
Who inspired you most?
Okay. I've had a lot of creatives that have inspired me, but the question is who inspired me the most? Um, the most would be Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah is a South African born comedian that eventually exported the South African culture to the rest of the world. He is best known now as the former host of The Daily Show. So the reason why Trevor inspired me is that Trevor was the person that sort of showed me that it is possible to export your local content, package it in diaspora, and blow it up beyond people's imagination. And people are paying a premium just to come and hear your local stories. Second person that I would say inspired me greatly is Chimamanda Adichie. Chimamanda also literally did, I mean, before Trevor Noah, obviously, did the same thing, took our traditional Igbo stories, packaged it in her novels, and exported it to the rest of the world. She told the African and the Nigerian stories on the global scale. Now, I feel like if Chimamanda had restricted herself to just Nigeria or just, her local community, her stories would not have been so spectacular in the sense that it is what we know. These stories are stories that are indigenous to us. It is nothing new to us. But to the people that do not have that culture, it is a spectacle. It is so, our stories are wow to them. And that's why for the longest time, Hollywood will take our stories. And I think you made mention of that in your introduction. The Hollywood will come and they want to tell the African stories. They'll be representing a Nigerian man. And then the Nigerian man will be speaking like this. Every time he'll be talking like this, as if this is how Nigerians talk. They always have that funny accent for all types of Africans. So whether it's from Senegal or it's from Zimbabwe, they all talk like this. This is how everybody has to talk if you are from Africa, if you are from Nigeria. So the Hollywood was telling our stories, making blockbusters with it and telling it wrongly, misrepresenting us for the longest time. And then you see people like Chimamanda. And now the new wave of filmmakers in Nigeria, all thanks to the streaming platforms, Netflix's Prime and the rest of them, are beginning to tell our indigenous stories with our indigenous people. Africa, stories written by Africans, told by Africans for the rest of the world. So now I mentioned Trevor Noah, I mentioned Chimamanda because those are the things that really endear me to them. And that is why the mantra of my brand, and if you look across all my social media platforms, the first thing you will see is local man, global appeal. I've always said it, that I'm a local man, global appeal. I've tried as much as possible. Yes, I might want to speak well. However, no matter how much I travel, I try to retain my authentic African accent. That if you hear me, you can tell that this person is Nigerian. No matter how refined you might want to say my accent is. I cannot be American. I cannot be British. I don't even want to be. I can't speak British English more than a Brit himself. I can't speak American English more than an American himself. And why should their culture be so attractive to me when mine can't be so attractive to them? I step into a room and I'm the only African and I come in all of my glory. I use the typical, I've been to several countries in the world. And every single time I go to a non-African country, people walk up to me on the streets and they want to take pictures. They're like, are you the Prince of Africa? Are you the Prince of Wakanda? And they're so enthralled when I tell them stories. I also did not mention that I've dabbled into stand-up. Stand-up comedy is something that I started in 2016. In fact, I filmed an entire special for over 1 hour, 30 minutes. And in my special, I told stories about family. Maybe after this, I might send you a link to the special. I had an entire 1 hour, 30-minute special. So for me, I didn't just want to soak you. I wanted to do a show for doing sake. I was looking for the medium that I could tell my own stories and package it and just keep it as an album. If we had talks with Netflix, sadly, the stand-ups that they had acquired before mine did not perform well on their platform. And they sort of said that from the business angle, they were not acquiring stand-ups from Nigeria for the time being because they feel like the genre is not one that a lot of people watch. But cut long story short, I filmed that special and it's still there and I'm going to release it on YouTube sometime soon. So yeah, Trevor Noah inspired me because he was able to package his African stories his experiences, and he exported it to the world, and everybody's celebrating. Chimamanda as well inspired me in those regards. In Nigeria, I have two individuals that have done well for themselves. There's Ebuka Obiu Chendu and there's Aikyo Sakyodua. Those are two legends in their own rights, and I believe that they've done incredibly well in their career as well.
Wow. I know that your personality must be formed and influenced by different people. But as you just rightly said, my question was who most did, and you have done justice to that question, providing an answer. So
Thank you.
it also shows that you are amenable. It also shows that you learn. You see, there's one good thing about our African tendency is original, is inspiring, and is enduring. But it depends on who is the brand or carrying it. You see, the way you carried African concepts is why we looked for it. That's why if you look at, you have gone through my page. I don't just call any kind of person to come for the show. So because we want to represent those who really believe in real African concepts, and you're one of them. So kudos to you for
Thank you.
ever representing Africa, undoubtedly. So that's great. So I want to say, you are doing all these things. What is the most challenging thing you have encountered while trying to push this authenticity of African concepts?
Mm. The most challenging thing would be, I think, the most challenging thing would just always be the funding. And the reason why I say funding is it's a big issue because we live in a country where you have to pay for everything 100%. Um, Unlike the Western countries where you have to use your credit score and you acquire certain things and you pay for them over the course of months and everything. So it's one thing to have a vision, it's another thing to have provision. So I think the most challenging thing has always been funding, and also the ability to identify people that are just as passionate as you are, bringing the
Good.
team together. So it has been, yeah, it's been a huge challenge, but I thank God that it's a challenge that I overcome. I always overcome. I have invested in projects that before we invested in the project, we had, developed like the business angle to it and how we're going to get our money back. And then at the tail end of it, when you're close to it, something happens and then it looks like you've made a loss. But I never think of anything I do in the creative space as a loss. I always just think of it as a process. I think of it as an investment because it is still my brand at the end of the day. I just made mention of a comedy special I filmed in 2022. It was supposed to go on Netflix. We filmed the special with about 8 million naira as at 2022, which is quite some money. It's a sizable sum. And, we tried to sell off the special, we couldn't. Eventually, DSTV acquired it and showed it on their holiday channel. But yeah, we were not able to sort of make profit on that project. But it adds to millions of people, and I'm incredibly grateful to DSTV for taking up that responsibility and also giving us a level of remuneration for the project. So yeah, and then also you have a vision. Okay, I want to shoot this, I want to film this. At the end of the day, if you want to get the best hands, most often than not, you need a lot of money to get the best hands. But I always say it in the creative space. I'm not necessarily going, if I have the money, I will get the best hands. But if you cannot afford the best hands, the best way to eventually get the best hands is to invest in them when they are not the best hands. So what I did with my team was I had to sort out for young creative people that did not have the platform to sort of showcase their skills. Brought them, it's like when you have diamonds in the rough, you can see that they are incredibly talented, but they just need a bit of experience, they just need a bit of nudge here and there, and we're able to come together. We were able to learn from each other. I was able to teach them what I've learned over the years, And when we put out our work, people always ask me, who is your team? How are you able to film this? What cameras did you use? And these guys are young guys, most of them below 25 years old, and they're doing incredible things. And that's because of I believed in them. I was able to source for them when nobody else believed in them. We live in a country where you just finish NYSC and people are looking for 10 years experience before they employ you you know but yeah, the same way people took a chance on me, I have a thing for taking a chance on people even when it seems like they are not fully equipped for such tasks. And I'm patient enough to go through it with them. I'm patient enough to build with them. I am very big on building. There are so many projects that I've never collected a dime for, and I just see the vision and I buy into the vision. And some of those projects are big right now. There's so many people I did favors to 5 years ago, 6 years ago. These guys are now brand managers in big brands. And it's like a full circle. They're now coming back and they're saying, oh, I remember you took a chance on me. Now I'm in a position of power. I'm going to take a chance on you. So life is just in circles. So yes, there's always a problem of funding. There's always a problem of just having money to actualize the vision that you've conceptualized. However, I've never really let anything deter me. I am one person that if I have a vision, I just go for it, and then the universe just makes provision. I remember in 2020 when I started an online game show called Isolation Games. I had just met the Black Mentor, and he was a follower on Instagram. In fact, he wasn't a follower. I made a content that offended him. It was about Donald Trump. And he commented, and I had to reach out to him, and I said it was just satire. It was just a joke. I was only imitating his voice. And I explained to him, and he understood where I was coming from. And that's how he started following me and he started following my work. Now, imagine if I had been rude to him, or if I had said, please, this follower of mine, I'll have to block him. I would have blocked my helper. Because fast forward, the first moment I went live and I said I wanted to do isolation games, because I didn't have a lot of money to do a lot of things, I used marker and cardboard sheets. That was literally what I used to write out the games I wanted to play. And then the Black Mentor just came and said, how can you do a game show without sponsorship? How can you do a game show without letting people win money? And fast forward, he invested in the project, and we started filming, going live on Instagram every single day, giving out hundreds of thousands and millions. The money ran into millions of naira during the pandemic, and it became more than a game show. I had guests from Nigeria. I had guests from South Africa. It got to a point, if you're a celebrity in Nigeria and you were never on my game show, then you were never a celebrity in the first place, because celebs were reaching out to me saying, I want to be on your game show. I had all the influencers on board from different countries, from the UK, from the US. It blew up so big. And that was because one man decided to bring the provision to my vision, and that's why it's so important that whatever you're doing, you never know who is out there. And I never expected it. And if not for that provision, I don't think we would have gone far the way we went far. So we went ahead, we developed several shows, Isolation Game, True Love Games. The money it got to a point I had another vision, and I said, you know what, as opposed to reach it, because the isolation games became an avenue for people to get money to sustain themselves during the pandemic. And then I realized that was just for people that could afford data. There were people on the streets that could not even afford to tune into my channel. And that was why we decided to do the isolation games drive, where he fully funded it. He gave us a lot of money, and we bought foodstuffs. We loaded a whole truck of the foodstuff. We went into the slums. By the time we got there, they thought we were from the government. They broke my car mirror. We were barely able to escape. They literally looted the food truck. And you could hear things like, now so they go give us money, now can't give us small thing. They didn't even know. They thought we were from the government, or like it was the part of the government palliative. So they looted the entire food truck, and I called the Black Mentor and I'm like, yeah, the entire thing that we bought, they just looted it. And we're not even able to capture it. We're not able to film it. And he just said it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that the people that the food is meant to go to, it has gone to them. They are hungry. That's why they looted it. So it doesn't matter. I am not doing this for the cameras. because I wanted to just really capture it, and then put it out on social media. And he was like, I'm not doing this for the camera. Whether they looted it or you shared it to them or whichever means, the most important thing is the food has gotten to them. Now, that brings me back to my point. Provision is very important for you to actualize the vision. And I think it's one of the toughest things. But when you are able to create an ecosystem, and just like you said, when you do content that appeals to people, people would come and partner with you. They would say, I like what you're doing and I want to partner with you. And that was exactly what happened between me and the Black Mentor in 2020. And it has been upward since then.
Wow. So I just want to share this story of how I met Black Mentor because, Black Mentor, I don't know, is I think it's close to Linda AKG. And when I did that movie, he so much, that movie, Kid Hero, and a lot of people um, were attacking me on the show. And whenever I come on the internet, they say this one that did this. They even went ahead to attack my wife and say, why should you allow your husband get this kind of role? A lot of things were going on. To the extent that Linda has to go and start writing. It's just a movie. So because I interpreted it so much that people were even threatening that if I come to work, they are going to snow me. A lot of things. So I didn't know Black Mentor was following that, but he said he was trying to reach out to this person who did this. And when I came back to America at a time, so my bed started going so white. I didn't want to keep it like that. It's my signature, so I shaved it. So it didn't. My face changed, you know. So whenever I come online, he wouldn't know I was the one who did it. So not until one day I was in a Harry's show. So when I was teaching something, he got impressed about who is talking like this. At the time he came. So when we were talking, he said, are you the one that did? You understand that October this year? I said, yes. That particular day he gave me 1 million naira. From there, he started getting me involved. I want to tell you, today I have my own shipping business. Today I have a loan system. Within few months that I met Black Panther, he did a lot. Not just giving me money, but he changed my mindset. He gave me
That's
another
amazing.
mindset. And immediately I keyed in into his teachings. The little money I had, I started investing it. And he started creating rooms for me on where and where. So I think you are just testifying just like me. I'm waiting for the day that I will fully testify. Maybe you come on your own show. And so that I will be one talking about something on my own show.
Sure.
So that is the way it is. So that is, I think funding is a challenging thing in Nigeria. I agree
Yeah,
with
it
you.
is. Mhm.
I agree with you. A lot of dreams are dying because there's no incentive anywhere. You understand? So, and that's why we continue to appeal to people, all these people who are blessed. I've always, you see the video. I'm not so close to the video. I don't even know some of his music, but I
Mm.
just one thing about the video, and I continue. I'm indifferent to whatever they say the video. The concept of we rise by lifting others. He has always made me so happy. Once I remember that concept, I so much adore him. Do you
Yeah.
understand? So,
Mhm.
because if very blessed people in Nigeria can be looking that way, seeing smart people like you and other things and start investing, you understand, a lot of things will have changed in our country, you know.
True.
So,
True.
for
And I also
instance,
think that in all our capacities, we can always do.
yeah,
I was telling the person that was in charge of welfare, and she asked me, why is it that whenever we're filming and even when we're not filming, that you're constantly very particular about making sure that everybody is well taken care of in terms of, you know, their welfare. And I'm like, it is not only when people are working for you that you have to give them welfare. You give people welfare when you can, and you know it's within your capacity to do. Just do it. It will not cost you. So I've always had the mindset that when God wants to bless anybody, He will go and bless the person that is a channel. He will go and bless the person that is a stream, because when He blesses the person, He knows by default He has blessed a lot of people through him. But when you are not a stream, when you are not willing to sort of give, and it's not just money, I'm talking of time, I'm talking of collaborations, I'm talking of partnerships. When you are not willing to give, you are not a stream, you are stagnated. Whatever is being given to you will get stuck. it wouldn't trickle down, and I think that is the concept that everybody should have. Everybody should be a stream, because when God wants to bless, the reason why people like the black metal will keep going high is because he's a stream. No matter what agenda people would bring, you can't take away the fact that he's a stream. And when God blesses him, automatically a lot of lives are blessed. It's that same thing. When God blesses you, because you're a stream, because you make sure that it sort of trickles down to everybody, not just financially, but also in terms of, impacting wisdom, in terms of mentorship, in terms of several other things. It's you are a right candidate for God to bless. So yeah, that's just it. So people should not necessarily wait till they have a lot before they become a stream. We can all give something in our little capacity. Even if it's not money, it could be time, it could be support, it could be as little as a gesture, it could even be as little as a comment. You go on someone's page that is really doing well, or someone's page that is struggling, and whatever it is, just support when you can. And I believe that, yeah, the world will be a better place, like you said.
Wow. So it's okay. Lifting people is something that I think is a calling. I'm beginning to look at it as a calling because it's not for everybody. Okay, look at what somebody commented. He said, days ago, I was watching it with someone for the first time who argued vehemently that you're a wicked person. That movie, somebody just said, he said, that movie did a lot, but to God be the glory, the movie helped me greatly. So, you have done great by coming and the kind of things you're talking about because we are here to show positive energy. We are here to project positive energy. That's why we don't entertain bad bulls. We don't entertain gossip. We don't entertain all those things. There are many other platforms. You can go there and enjoy your bad bulls, enjoy your gossip. But if it is here, it is all about positive energy. Hero, what can you say? You know, like I was talking with somebody today, Dr. Mercy Allo was the winner of International African Music, some traditional African music award in the world. Was it? He won things that all this, like Burna Boy and others. They won the award. I saw it them in December. But she's a very humble and quiet person. She's in this US. I was talking with her today. So she asked me, Chinedu, there are ways you succeed in certain things you want to do. What is the virtue you respect most that you think have propelled you to this to navigate to this level? And I answered prudence. Prudence simply means you know when to and when not to. You know when you're supposed to be angry. It's not just in everything you get angry. Sometimes you can be angry and you still apologize. And you're angry, you're offended. You're the one offended, and you know, you still apologize. I'm sorry. And you know that naturally you are the one that should be said sorry to. That's prudence. So what are the tendencies you have adhered to strictly that brought you successfully? There's no process that didn't have pitfalls and all that, but at least you have recorded success, and that's why we're celebrating you today, and that's why you're
Thank
on
you.
this show. So, what are those tendencies you think that if other people can adopt by grace,
Mm.
they can also come to where you are?
Okay, so I'll say three things. The first is consistency. Consistency sounds easy, but it's the hardest thing. The ability to show up even when you don't feel like it. There are certain times I just wake up, I don't feel like creating content, but I know I have to create content. Showing up. Showing up even when you're not seeing the results. Showing up even when it seems like you're not seeing the numbers or as much as you would want to see it. Showing up knowing that where you are currently used to be where you used to pray for. It's in human nature to forget the things that we've asked God for because we're looking for higher things and we're looking for bigger things. But yes, if you're consistent, you are consistent at showing up. Even the universe respects consistency. Once you keep showing up, eventually you're going to have that break. And even when you have that break, there will always be a higher level you aspire to. I tell people that before I became a celeb in maybe Lagos, I was probably a celeb in my family. You know, my family is my immediate audience. I always throw jokes around, practice in front of the mirror, and just constantly showing up. So from my family to my local government, from the local government to the states, to Nigeria, and you just keep going, you know? So that's number one. Number two would be discipline. Discipline is something that is lacking in fact, discipline is what separates someone that is great from someone that is good. You can be a natural, talented person, but hard work would always beat talent. And hard work can only be consistent with discipline. It's like going to the gym. You go to the gym, you're all pumped up, you're fired up for the first month. Then the second month, you start going, you start reducing the amount of times you go. Before you know what's happening, 3 months, you've stopped going to the gym at all. That's because you've not been able to develop the discipline to show up every single time. So without discipline, you cannot move far. The world is a world filled with several temptations. And I'm not just talking about maybe sexual discipline. That's a story for another day. I'm talking about the ability to know that I have to develop a routine that, okay, this is how my day should look like. This is how my week should look like. I'm going to continue doing this thing even when it seems hard. I'm going to keep going through this challenge even when it seems hard. Discipline. Now, the third point, which I would usually say it's the most important, which should have been my first point, you cannot take away the grace of God. And I know it's typical to say, but there is a divine power that sort of orchestrates everything. So no matter what your religion is, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whatever religion you're practicing, even if you're an atheist, you must believe in something. For me, I believe in God. And I always tap into that. As trivial as it may seem in the world of today, especially where it seems like perhaps, people have misconstrued relationship with God with religion. I think a lot of people now pay so much attention to religion that they now sort of renegade on their relationship with God. So the grace of God is something that you should constantly seek. You should constantly seek the face of God, knowing that He is the Almighty One and He's the one that has the hearts of men. So it is not by happenstance that I'm here. By some divine orchestration, it has been predestined that I will be here on this platform with you. So it's important that people are conscious of the God factor and constantly knowing that even though we might show faults and we may sin, just knowing that if you constantly talk to the big guy upstairs, he will constantly come through for you, even in your darkest times. So those are the three things I would say that has kept me going and that has taken me to where I am today. And yeah, I am eternally grateful. Yeah. And if I'm to add one more, it will be gratitude. I think that is one of the things that would help you and help your energy when you're constantly grateful for the things you have. I was driving out today and I just realized that every single time I drive out, I always say, thank you, God, for this car. Do I want a better car? Yeah, sometimes I'll be like, okay, yeah, it wouldn't be bad to have this other car. But I'm constantly thankful for the things I have. Oh, thank you for this apartment. Oh, thank you for the gift of friends. Oh, thank you for my family. I'm constantly thanking God, and I'm not doing it as a routine. Okay, anytime I'm waking up in the morning, because I'm doing morning prayers, I will thank Him. No. As I'm just entering the car, I'm like, oh, wow, I have a car. Thank you. And this is a car I've had for like maybe 2 years plus. I remember before I bought my first car, just like every young man in Lagos, I was jumping buses. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. That's why I might not complain of struggles because I never identified them as struggles. And I think that was the point I was trying to make in the beginning. You know, when I did 30, my first job did not even pay me. I did 30K jobs in this Lagos. You know, I've been in that place where before the month ends, you've already like budgeted and you're owing basic. I've been unemployed. In fact, there was a time I lost my job. I think that was in 2019. I wasn't sacked or anything. The company closed down. I'm not just because I'm not gonna mention the name of the company, but I was jobless for 6 months. I went around Lagos looking for a job in different media houses, and they rejected me simply on a very biased basis because of the former place I was coming from. And then I just said, you know what, I'm just going to register my company and I'm just going to start my thing. And that's how I started Ito Media. And Ito Media has been responsible for producing a lot of shows, even on TV. We don't just talk about it. I have an entire studio that I film stuff. I have staff that I pay every month. If that had not happened to me at the time it happened, I would not have the temerity, the audacity to actually do what I'm doing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
bro.
propelled me to become, like I said, okay, this time around, I can't be a consumer. It moved me from being an employee to becoming an employer. But because I have learned a lot being an employee, eventually when I became an employer, I understood from the employee's point of view. And I try as much as possible in my own power to make sure my employees are happy. In as much as, of course, you can't necessarily satisfy every need an employee demands. But yeah, so yeah, most times when things happen to me, I don't go crying foul. I try as much as possible not to even complain about it. I just trust in God, trust in my positive energy, and just look for ways around it. Even currently on YouTube, we have invested millions and millions of naira. I'm talking of over 11 million naira into the creation of YouTube content, staffing, cameras, equipment, a lot of things. And this is just me understating how much we've spent. And from the business angle, it looks like it's not making sense because a lot of the ad revenue are coming from Nigeria. But if you have ad revenue coming from US, UK, and the rest of the Western countries, you tend to make more money. And so many business metrics and all the jargons that the business team have given the feedback to me. But I keep telling them, okay, I've heard you. We've seen the numbers. We can do better. We can try as much as possible to see how we can push it in these other places that you people say will earn us more. But meanwhile, we cannot stop. We have to keep pushing. We have to keep creating, you know, because I have a conviction that before I start a project, I have already handed the project over to God. So it is not necessarily my project, it's God's project. So, God, if you want your project to fail, that's on you. But me, I've done my part as a human being. It is now left for you to do your part, and I'll continue to do my part to do my part as a human being to make sure that this project succeeds. But I'm not going to bother myself too much over it. So yeah, at the end of the day, it still boils down to the grace factor, identifying that there's the grace of God upon your life, and when you are conscious of that grace upon your life, nothing would really move you that much.
Yeah, you have mentioned grace of God and other things and discipline on that because there was a question I kept for you, but I think it has just resolved it because the kind of show you do, there are a lot of scandals that have trade the men that do such shows. But you have been lucky enough. Did I use the word lucky? Or you have succeeded in not creating scandal. So, but because the discipline and all this thing you have mentioned, I was even weak coming up with the questions because I was waiting for you with this question. Because those kind of things you do, girls come around, blow balloon, girls of different orientations, different enigmatic codes, different temperamental differences, and affiliations. But, men who handle these things with history, I don't want to mention people, have always
Yeah.
been played with scandal of one or two. But you have been
Mhm.
able to to continue to sustain the continuity of this brand without calling you out for
Yeah.
one day.
So again, I was having a chat with a friend of mine, and I'm going to say this on your platform. I'm also going to mention names, right? Of course, the reason why I'm mentioning names so that people don't, if they want to go and do their research, they can do their research. Her name is Tabitha. She came all the way from Cameroon to Nigeria. And when she came to Nigeria, an industry friend of mine, told me that, okay, this young lady has been paying hotel bills and she's run out of money and she needs a place to stay. That he has called a lot of his female friends, but they say they can't allow her to come and stay with them. That would I allow this? Like she just handed the lady over to me and said, okay, I should sort of help her out in any way I can. Cut long story short, this young lady, this was as far back as maybe 2019, came to my place, as a young man living in Lagos to come and stay. And of course, she's from Cameroon, she speaks French, how typically they are endowed in that part of the world. And she stayed in my place for like about 3 months. I was living in a one bedroom, like one room parlor. Now, one room, no parlor, just one room. So it was literally on this. Initially, I would say, oh, let me sleep on the floor. She's like, why am I sleeping on the floor? I should come and sleep on the bed and everything. Call long story short, she stayed in my house for 3 weeks, entire 3 weeks. I never as much as even looked at her indecently. And then when she left my place, she eventually got her place. When she left my place, she called me and she said, Hero, are you gay? That was the question she asked me.
Wow.
And I'm saying this on the public platform. I'm sure that this definitely would be here. History, the internet never forgets.
Yeah.
She asked me if I was gay. And I'm saying no. And I said, then why didn't you do anything? And I'm like, I don't understand, because somebody is living with me, am I now entitled to their body? I think also parenting is very important. I think my parents did a very great job in raising me. And I'm not saying that I'm a saint, but I'm just saying that I can never understand how people have not been able to sort of discipline themselves to sort of control urges. You know what I mean? So I think, again, I don't want to come here and put myself on a very high pedestal, put myself on a very high horse, but it was very deliberate. So for every single time that young lady was there, I was always telling myself, if I can make it the next 24 hours, did I have thoughts? Yes. Was I tempted? Yes. But at every single time, most times I'll even go out of the house and, just sort of hang out with my friends or just keep myself engaged. And I've always told people, and I think a lot of preachers would also tell you, the best way is just to sort of avoid certain situations that will put you in a compromising position. Well, call long story short.
You just mute. Please unmute. You just touched it. You just touched your mute button. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're
I
good.
don't know if this is back.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh my God. Oh, my people. So you can see today we're having Hero Daniels, a lot of experience. You can see. That's why I've always told you that the best thing is for us to get men of experience. So if you're here today, you're not invigorated, you're not defied, you're not educated. You see, constants can really drive men to positivity and growth. And that is the reason why we established this platform. So if you are edified, if what we are saying here is touching, educative to you, can you send a love emoji? Can you say Hero Daniels? Thank you. Can you comment? Can you comment? Real estate iPhone 99 Amand Kevils. Okay, 1073. And who again? A lot of you, real estate Imo. How are you? Yep, Hero is back.
Yes. Okay. So sorry, I just my call was interrupted. My device was interrupted because I got a call. I'm actually supposed to I have a 9 p.m. You know, creatives, we're always working. So I have a
Yeah,
9 p.m. meeting.
we'll be rounding up now.
Yes. So just to summarize the whole thing, she had said that, that it was very surprising to her that, oh, you would stay with a man and the person, did not want to do any funny thing. And I just told her it wasn't like I wasn't a human being. I don't put myself on all sorts of high pedestal, but it's something that over time, you just know that there are certain things you can't afford to do, not because of anything, but of course you just have you just have a lot at stake. You know what I mean? You have to sort of comport yourself. Again, there's nobody that is perfect. I'm not saying in the future that anything might not happen. I'm never want to claim a sense. I'm praying that nothing negative happens or no scandal happens in the future. But even if it does happen, in the future, I would always say that at least the only thing I can control right now is my present. And as much as possible, I just try to keep it sane and I try to keep it very disciplined and I just try to keep it as professional as I can, really.
Well, I think I will celebrate you for doing that, and that's what we have always said. Kudos to your parents. That's why I initially said you must give a shout out to them, and you can
Thank you.
see
Thank you.
the what they impacted in you is still transparent in your output, even when you are alone sitting. So that's all we encourage people to do. Please, Hero, we don't have to take you more than 1 hour today. We can still have time to bring you one other days. If you have issues that concerns we think you can speak on, we will still
Thank
have
you. Thank you.
to bring you. But before you go now, before we close the curtain for today, we wrap up the curtain for today, I want you to send a strong message to upcoming content creators, those who dropped maybe those who have opportunity to study microbiology and they dropped the biology and picked the microphone. Uh, yes, they pick the mic. They have not added phone yet. So because by now you have phone attached to your mic, but
Mm,
some people dropped the biology. They are still having mic. They have no SIM phone attached to it. So what's your strong message considering the angry choking finger of Nigeria economy?
mm.
Considering what will I say? Considering the kind of psychosomatic intimidation resulting from those who think they have made it, even regardless of we fake it to make it. So, what's
Mm.
your strong message to people?
Just keep doing it. Create for one person. Because sometimes we get so lost in we get so lost in waiting for the glory that we do not go through the process. So before David became a king, David was right there in the farm,
As a
tending to the
shepherd?
sheep as a shepherd. When the bears and the lions came, that was the first challenge he had to deal with. He wasn't thinking of the palace. He was just there making sure that he does his primary job, which is make sure keeps the life of the sheep safe. He killed the bear, he killed the lion. It was the process because he was preparing to kill the giants, even though he did not know that he was going to kill the giants. So most people would post a video and they have 10 views. But because they've seen Brother Shaggy have 1 million views, they feel like they're not doing well. But you have forgotten that 10 people took the chance on you. 10 people took their time and used their data on you. So I always approach creating my content as if I'm doing it for one person. Do I want views? Yes. Do I sometimes feel bad when the views are not up to what I want? Yes. But do I come again and create another content? Yes. Because I'm creating for that one person. I shared my story about somebody that was about to commit suicide. If that is the only thing I've achieved in my entire career, I can go back to heaven and I say, I've lived a good life. Because if that's my entire purpose of my entire existence to save one soul from committing suicide, that is one person. Of course, there have been so many testimonies. I get DMs all the time. However, You don't know what that content can do for that one person. So always create for one person. Show up every day. Show up when it even feels like you can't do it. Show up even when you don't feel like doing it. And do not wait until you have everything before you start. People want, oh, great camera quality, great lighting, this. It's all good. Of course, there's room for improvement in making your content better. But if it's an Android phone you have, create it. Some of the biggest stars we have today, what even shot them into limelight was not even the packaged videos. It was that raw, authentic talent. So whether you have an Android phone, because people will say I don't have an iPhone, that's what's stopping me. My mentor would always tell me that excuses are tools in the hands of the incompetent. So every single time he quizzes me and he tells me, why didn't I do this? Instead of telling him, oh, it's because of I didn't have light. Oh, it's because of my editor did this. Oh, it's because of my, because he still watches my content till now and he still critiques me. I will take responsibility and say, I see what you're saying and I could have done better and I will do better. I don't go and say, oh, it's because of this person. I don't point fingers at this person. I don't point fingers at that person. Ask Linda Ikeji. She will tell you herself that one of the things that they will say about Hero while he was working there is that irrespective of what happens, whether there is resources or there are no resources, I get the job done. I get the job done. Whether this gets discovered, I get the job done. Just get the job done. And this was me working for someone else. It wasn't even my company. But I get the job. There was a time I was the only presenter in her company that was still filming. Every other person had stopped filming. She can verify these things. I get the job done. I don't see, no matter how high that mountain is, I will climb it. So you need to have a dogged spirit. That's the truth. Do it for now. Do it, show up every day, and you will be shocked at how far you will go. In fact, when you know the beautiful thing about creating for one and showing up every day, even when you've made it, you will not realize because you will stay hungry. It keeps you hungry. I just went to a meeting now. We're creating another content for a television brand, worth hundreds of millions of naira. And then it didn't even dawn on me. Like the producer was like, Hero, sometimes you forget that you're Hero Daniels. Because you're still as hungry as ever. Like you don't have that air of, okay, I've made it. And I'm like, because to you people have made it. I'm thinking of, oh, I see what Trevor did. Trevor sold out 50,000 capacity venue. Oh, Trevor sold out 100,000 capacity venue. I see these things and I'm like, there are bigger levels to this thing. I'm appreciative of how far I've gone. But to me, where my eyes are, it's so high. People might see it as impossible, but it is very possible. So, like Nike, the brand would say, just do it and keep doing it.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for showing up, Hero, for showing up for us. And wow, shout out to a lot of people you have mentioned, Leader KG. And just so lucky that you have just passed through people that influenced my life. And I'm so grateful. The Black Mentor, Dr. Joseph Natoma, and some other people, Trevor and others. A very big shout out for them. And for those who, the names they are mentioned here, we did it for the purpose of entertainment and education. It's not for any other reason. So we're not taking responsibility of pirating and referencing of names that are mentioned here by any other platform. We are here to educate and we take responsibility of that. So thank you, Hero, for coming. But before you finally drop, please, what will you tell the world about this your friend's upcoming platform, Chinedu Anichi TV?
Okay, so please, to everybody watching, make sure you keep watching Chinedu Anichi TV. This is truly a platform for African voices, and he is the African voice in diaspora. So Chinedu, keep doing what you're doing. and keep showing up like you've always showed up, and just keep being a positive light in the midst of so much darkness in the world. I'm always very grateful to be on platforms that exude positivity, because I think it's easier to be negative than to be positive. So it's a lot of hard work staying positive, and it's a lot of hard work maintaining a positive brand, and just keep doing you. And as much as possible, let's all support him in every way that we can.
Yeah, thank you. My people, today we have Hero Daniels. Hero Daniels is an internationally recognized TV show presenter, content creator, and some other things we don't need to mention here, but you'll find out when you get closer to him. Check him out.
Thank you.
Go to his Instagram page at Hero Daniels. I think you have, please mention your handles so that people can check you out. Please.
It's Hero Daniels on all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, websites. Everything is simply Hero Daniels.
Okay, thank you. So you can go check out Hero Daniels in all these platforms, and you will now find out that what we discussed today is just a tip of an iceberg. You will thank me later. The account that will produce a result that will remain indelible in your memory. You will now
Thank
know
you.
why he is a hero and why he's a Daniel. God bless you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you, hero. Yeah, my people, we saw we had Hero Daniels today successfully, and we appreciate Hero Daniels. We appreciate all other of our supporters and sponsors. We cannot close today without making reference to Dr. Joseph Natoma. He made this meeting possible, and the linking and all that. So we appreciate him. We appreciate Dr. Samuel Madukonyishi, MD Peace Mass Transit. We call him Wansuka, our big sister in Nollywood, Nigeria. Nally Boy Show, and others, and especially my family, my direct family. So, and I want to use this opportunity also to remind you that we have a Do Global LLC, logistic and transport company, belonging to me in USA. We do a lot of things from inland to ocean freight, navigating from US to West Africa. So continue to patronize us and continue to tell people, tell a friend to tell a friend that you have a Do Global. Tell a friend to tell a friend you have Chinedu Amici TV. And God will surely bless you. I appreciate all my followers. I appreciate all of you for finding out time, even in this challenging period of data, to have time to come and stay and watch me for 1 hour. You are great. God will come to support. Please share this live video so that those who did not even meet us live can watch it offline. God bless you. My name is Chinedu Anichi, your one and only celebrity CSO. And this is Chinedu Anichi TV, streaming live from United States of America. God bless you. Remember, I love you. Tomorrow, we'll be having a very important person, an international musician who has won several awards in music. He's a cousin, he's a son to the great musician, Fan and Tunde. Bukoye. And today, he's a nephew to Fela Ransom Kuti. Tomorrow, we'll be having him in the show, 2 p.m. Central American time and 8 p.m. Nigeria. Tomorrow will be amazing. A musician is going to come with his saxophone and everything. So he's based in US, but he's an Afrobeat giant. He has won many awards. We were lucky to have him, but he has made a video and posting it tomorrow. And please show up. Please let others know. Tell your friend to tell a friend. It is time, 8 p.m. Let's go and watch Chinedu Anichi TV. God bless you. God bless you. And God bless you, Elaine. I appreciate Omega King, Ijomo Okoye, Chidima Namani. All of you, I can't mention all your names. Isaiah Samuel, Ijomo Okoye, Emeka. All of you, Chidembele and Original Gonsa. So, for those of you on Instagram, I appreciate Fresher, Naani, Jike, Shako, Francis, Big, all of you. I cannot mention all your names. Soso, the solutionist, Wako, and others. I Europe, my person. God bless you. Today, we call it a day. Remember, 2 p.m. Central American time every day. Chinedu Anichi TV will be live on Instagram at Chinedu Anichi TV, on YouTube at Chinedu Anichi TV, and on Facebook at Chinedu Anichi TV. God bless you. I love you. Bye. Yeah, bye.